Congress fails to be able to pass spending legislation, federal courts may be forced to limit their operations, delaying trials and other hearings. The courts now are expected to continue paid operations through October the 17th by using funds such as court fee balances. Well, today, though, is day number 2 of the shutdown after Congress now failed to reach a deal on funding. Let's talk about this now with Chief Legal Analyst Govt Rhodes joining us on this conversation. So the big question right now is, could the shutdown actually force federal courts to delay the trials or hearings, and then which cases would be affected first?
Oh, I mean, affected first would be civil cases. I mean, we have a lot of constitutional protections to ensure that criminal cases are handled in a speedy manner, and so specifically any criminal matter has a speedy trial right. If you hold a person before they're informed of what they're charged with, there's a process where they need to be informed in a timely manner as well. And so the criminal ones would be extremely last resort. You're dealing with civil matters like litigation. Now, while that may not seem like a bad thing, it hurts individual plaintiffs, individuals that are filing lawsuits against companies or other people, because, yeah, you may not be sitting in a jail cell, but your case is pending. Maybe your business is going to get shut down. Maybe you have an injunction that you need to be heard by a judge that stops something negative from happening to your company. I mean, there are a number of things on the civil component where this could be have drastic implications within the court system. Additionally, with the cuts, what you'll see is that, yeah, judges may not be affected. Supreme Court justices may not be affected, but law staff, clerks, paralegals, folks that work within the courthouse, they will be affected drastically. And ironically, those are the people within the building that need to pay the most because they're the lowest paid on the totem pole. So those type of spending cuts, delays in spending will hurt them more than anyone else in the system.
This was going to ask you when we talk about that too. Can judges and staff still work if there is no funding?
I mean, there is a anti-deficit act that needs to be put in place, or that is in place for judges, and so judges are going to get paid regardless. There will be a fund that money will come through to ensure that our judicial system continues to run, at least for the judges wearing the robes that sit on the bench. In terms of the other staff, there'll be furloughs, so those folks will receive back pay, but it's just like any other type of furlough process. People that have the least means in scenarios like this, they don't have extended savings to be able to say, I can continue to go to work every day and not get paid, and then you can pay me back pay on the back end, because your landlord doesn't accept back pay. Your people that are keeping your lights, water, electricity, those folks aren't accepting back pay. And so in those scenarios, they compound an already tough situation where working in the court system is hard enough. I clerked in a judge for a courtroom for 2 years. I did a number of other work with a judge for a year and a half. That process of working in there, recognizing that this is intense, high strung, no day is the same. I couldn't imagine going to work every day and not knowing that I'd get a check coming at the end of the month or the end of the week. So that will be problematic. Ironically, the judge that's over the administrative office of the U.S. courts comes from North Carolina. Judge Conrad, he is the former Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the Western District. And so this is a North Carolina connection having impact on our U.S. court system. The one court system that won't be affected by any of this, ironically, is with this Trump administration, is immigration courts. Because they are outside the federal judiciary. The Justice Department maintains and runs those court systems, so they won't be impacted or affected.
Real quick, let's talk about the impact that it's going to have on the public. So if the shutdown continues to be able to drag on, how will people be affected in terms of waiting for trials, for cases? I mean, could that potentially mean that more people could stay in jail and not have their trial date come up because we're in a shutdown? It
could, and I say could, because every judge is not handling this the same way. And so I read that the one judge in Boston, U.S. Department of Justice, were filing motions to have their cases delayed because they were anticipating no funding. And the judge told them flat out, I will not delay this. I don't know how long this shutdown will be, but even if the courts run out of money, we're here, we're open, we're working. So there are judges that are taking an approach to say, if the building is open and the lights are on, the cases will continue. I just don't know if the folks that are behind the scenes, the people that are helping write the opinions, that are helping ensure that the people are going from place to place within the courthouse, have that same approach.
Govt Rhodes, we appreciate your insight as always. Thank you so much.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.